Good morning, good afternoon, good evening in the past, present, or future, wherever or whenever you are. Welcome to another edition of the Living World of Darkness. This time, the Changeling and Werewolf venue is having a crossover. We find ourselves at D&D Salvage, where Charles has recently been talking to certain people. He had originally been at the impound lot, but time is a thing that is definitely of the essence if you want to get something that's been impounded. And if you take too long, it tends to end up in a scrapyard. Well, Charles managed to pay the impound fees just to find out that the vehicle had been taken off to the scrapyard. So, deed and everything in hand, he managed to get to the scrapyard and talk to someone who said, "Oh yeah, no, it should be here. They haven't taken it. They haven't taken it in for compression yet." So he was at least timed it just right. But they at least point him in the direction of where he should probably go. Despite his charming appearance and his charm and everything along those lines, they seem very unhelpful. So Charles, somewhat exasperated, starts to make his way through the mounds of different various levels of scrap.
It probably wouldn't take him too long, just for the sake of narrative and getting on with the scene, before he sees Bailey, this scrappy-looking young woman with a ridiculous haircut, sort of swinging a crowbar along merrily as she puts it between the seals along the trunk, which have been established is currently held closed with bungee cord. Of course, Bailey doesn't know this. And so when she applies as much force as she usually would have to open a trunk, the thing, instead of popping, just flies open with ease, sending her sprawling on her ass into the dirt. Oh, fuck!
Charles is at first slightly, surprised that someone's, going at the Dodge Neon with this ease, and seeing this woman sprawled out. It's like, and he makes his approach, and it's, for her perspective, I'm sure it's just, he just seems to hit the light just right, as though he's just this some angelic sort of savior coming down as the light halos around him, and as he it's down. Are you all right?
Feeling a lot better. Did I hit my head on something? She says, kind of looking around the dirt to see if maybe she's dead.
I think the ground.
Well, that explains why my ass hurts. Mind helping a sister up?
Charles holds out his hand.
Bailey will grab on with her probably fairly dirty, gloved mechanic hands.
Yeah, in comparison to his nice suit and everything, which he helps her up. And he smiles, that smile of his that just seems a little too sharp. Just always seems a little too sharp.
Bailey just kind of cocks her head a little bit at the smile. So, thanks for the help up. She's dusting off her shorts or her pants, whatever. Are you lost?
Oh no, I'm exactly where I believe I should be, he says, and he takes a sidelong glance at the Dodge Neon.
Wish you'd look at me like that, she says as she grabs the crowbar. But if you're here to claim it for scrap, you're a little late. She puts it over her shoulder.
What? I'm sorry, as he says, as he sort of blinks at that.
Well, this is a scrapyard. I pull off these shitty plastic doors, throw that garbage away, and we get to the nice meaty inside. Of course, I'm going to have to pull out the bullshit cloth interior. Of course, it's a cloth interior, she says over her shoulder to no one in particular. But yeah, I pull out the crap that isn't metal, and then we send the stuff that is metal off to people who pay us for it.
Ah, well, that's a bit problematic because I'm here for the car in hopefully one piece.
She looks over at the open trunk. Why do you want this car?
Sentimental value.
Oh, did you lose your virginity in the car? She looks in the back seat. A little snug, but I mean, we're all young at some point, right?
he, he just sort of is like staring there with this wide smile, like, and he just smile, like, he just seems charming, but inside it's like, no, I didn't lose my virginity in the back car, you fucking idiot. as he's staring at this with like he's like, I'm sorry. Maybe it's the booze making me uncertain of where to go at this point. Anyway, he's just like, no, I'm afraid it's nothing so delectably romance novel.
Oh, well, if you want to give it a spin, go. We can. I've got all afternoon.
Much as I appreciate the offer, he says. And it seems very genuine. Like, it seems like, yeah, it's such a thing could never be, though. I'm afraid that I'm also on a very on a schedule of my own. Plus, I don't want to dishonor my friend's memory of her own chastity by violating that sanctity.
How would you be violating your friend's sanctity? Wait, I'm lost. What? Rewind. Play again. Your friend's chastity would be violated if you violate me?
Well, let's just say I'd violate the memory. I don't want to do that. I have some very nice memories with my friend in this vehicle. As he sort of runs a hand along the rooftop. Much as it is a turbulent machine of death.
I was going to say a paperweight on rubber wheels, but
boy, could she make me sweat when barreling down the streets of New York. No regard for the traffic lights.
So your friend was suicidal, homicidal, maniac? I mean, have you seen the traffic out there?
From that seat, he says as he points to the passenger one.
Billy just kind of like looks at the seat, looks back at Charles. I was under the impression that this thing doesn't start.
Oh, it starts. You just have to give it some time. And he pulls out the keys. He goes, "I'll show you." And he gets in there. And remembering how Maxine did it, it's almost like he thinks it's like, it's a rhythm. It's like a password you have to do, sort of thing. So like
Bailey sits on the ground watching this.
It takes to make maybe 2 minutes, but finally Charles gets it.
Yeah, listen to that baby purr, she says.
As it's like,
Your kitten has congestion.
To be honest, I don't know why she kept a hold of it. She seemed very, very much attached to it.
Is this what killed her? You don't have to answer that.
No. It might have been easier if it was. What's that? What's that saying? Do that. Go out doing something you love, or with something you love. She loved this car very, very much.
Ah. And how exactly are you're planning on driving it out of here?
No, I'm getting it towed.
Oh. And what do you go? I mean, it is a piece of crap. That slow start. That's the alternator.
Alternator?
If you don't mind turning off the car for a moment.
Yeah, he turns it off.
And she'll like reach down and pop the hood and for all that the trunk doesn't stay shut, the hood doesn't want to open much. And so she'll have to kind of bounce the car a bit before the hood unlatches, and she just throws it up. And she looks for the peg to keep it open. It's not there, so she grabs the crowbar and just kind of shoves it in place.
Gerald's just watching this crowbar with some he's getting some really bad vibes from this crowbar. He's looking at this like it's the fucking it's fucking doom right in front of him.
Bailey doesn't put two and two together between the crowbar and just assumes he must not be very comfortable around cars. He's very nicely dressed. Obviously, probably doesn't drive if he's getting this thing towed. You can't be nervous with vehicles. I'd say they're more afraid of you than you are of them, but that's a bunch of horseshit. But, and she points down. See, this is the alternator, and Carol does not actually know stuff about cars. So please, car people, fill in your head any number of things with the Dodge Neon subpar alternator.
Michael also is not very well versed in everything that goes on in the working parts of a car.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just going to continue forward as though Bailey is educating Charles on vehicles.
Yes. But anyway, so she's pointing to basically all the things that are shit inside the car. And honestly, repairing this is worth more than the car is. It costs more than the car is worth.
He says with a as he's staring at this thing, and he's thinking, I was like, perhaps that's why she never really bothered to repair it. I mean, probably wasn't much of a salary down in Billbeck. As he sort of takes, as he says he's taking in everything she's saying and learning the words and the definitions of all these things he didn't know about cars.
What's a Billbeck?
All these definitions of things. Billbeck is in Minnesota.
Huh. Okay, so anyways, the car is crap, but I will give you $25 for it. And I should be able to make at least another $5 off the profit for the scrap.
He sort of blinks. It's like, but you're offering to buy it from me.
Well, I mean, are you planning on repairing this thing?
And he takes a look at it and he goes, and he's looking at this thing because now it's like he's realizing if he takes it, he's owning it. He's going to have to learn to drive it. And if it's a piece, and it says as much as he hates to admit it, he knows nothing about cars. He has to trust this individual's opinion on the fact that things are not working well.
You all right there?
Yes, I think I'm going to repair it. Or get it repaired, I should say.
Oh. All right. Planning on taking it to O'Malley's or something? Because they're going to rip you off. They're going to try and like sell you all sorts of crap. But this is a pretty strict garbage cart. I'd recommend you go to a place like this, find the parts. And I mean, you're just looking to extend its life. You're not going to get it to run like new or anything. But, you know, simple like replacement here and there. And you should at least have something that doesn't, you know, threaten to kill you every time you turn it on.
I realized you can't see my face when she mentioned O'Malley's. So the moment she mentions O'Malley's, his smile returns, but there's a hardened edge to that, and he just keeps smiling as he's listening to her opinions. I was like, oh, you're gonna better take it there. O'Malley's gonna rip you off. He's like, yes, as much as I'm gonna rip O'Malley's off. His head, but he's listening to her things. It's like, yes. Yes, I've had dealings with O'Malley's before, and it's help is rather lacking.
Speaking kind of spooky there, fella.
Sorry, I just well, let's just say a Yelp review wouldn't do my experience justice.
Well, what happened? I mean, is it something you should get the authorities involved with? Something, you know, like personal vengeance justice. I'm going to glass them kind of thing. I mean, you don't necessarily have to elaborate, but I mean, you're here, I'm here. I like a good story as much as anybody.
Do you?
I just said I did.
Well, you know, people say they like stories, and yet oftentimes when they start to hear one, they tend to get bored.
You have my undivided attention, she says, and gives him a wink and like one of those like nods, like, because you're attractive.
Mm-hmm.
Is the implication with that nod.
I am a criminal psychologist.
What's that?
Well, a criminal psychologist serves many functions within a police force. Mainly, it's when it comes down to criminals. Mainly, when it comes down to assessing criminal behavior, and especially around crime scenes, getting a better understanding of the motive of certain crimes. Don't get me wrong, any private investigator has a decent knowledge of their own, but a criminal psychologist has a deeper understanding as to the motives, the motivations, what makes this person tick.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there was an investigation to a with a bomber.
Bomber? All right.
We had I'm sure you're aware of the fires maybe about a year ago or so.
I was in Jersey back then, man.
Well, there was a series of there were two fires within a week of each other.
Ooh. New York.
I believe one was in one was in Manhattan, one was in Brooklyn, and we had been investigating for some time. You know, he's well, unless you want to roll against his story, he is lying about his these thread connections. He's telling the truth for the most part about these events having happened, but how they're connecting is going to not.
If you want to roll like your subterfuge, and if like you botch that shit and seem like you're lying, then I'll roll my perception.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna just arbitrarily check like a random person for lies.
Yeah, no, I think he's fine with his 9 successes.
Which dice roller are you in?
Extra dice roller 1.
Okay, great. Oh yeah. That was obscene.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'll literally buy anything you say.
Yeah. He's pretty.
He's pretty. Well, this had been an ongoing investigation, and we managed to connect ourselves to the offender to an O'Malley's, actually. My partner, the one who owned this vehicle, was with me. And we had been doing a little bit of the investigation, and needless to say, our experience at the O'Malley's and trying to get our information was rather, well, let's just say they put as many roadblocks as they possibly could. What do you know? It turned out one of their employees was involved. Of course, we found him dead.
Jiminy.
Afraid the bomber had his own particular perchance. You ever see the movie Saw?
I may have caught a couple of minutes here or there.
Had a little bomb collar on the poor man.
Gross.
It was quite a mess when we found him. He apparently missed a job for a week. They didn't even care.
Yeah, it sounds like O'Malley's.
Obstructing justice, obstructing officers in the pursuit of justice, not even giving a shit about their employees, and, well, while we apprehended the individual, perhaps maybe if we had gotten a bit more information, we would have been aware of certain other things, and my friend would still be alive today.
Oh. That's rough. Oh, yeah, then you shouldn't go to O'Malley's.
No, I don't recommend it to anyone. So, I'm sorry, I might have spaced out a little bit when you were recommending other places to go for reconstruction.
Yeah, I mean, there's like garages where you can just work on your car yourself, and you come to places like this, or you go to like a pick and pull, and you just, you fix it. You'll get your hands dirty. Although, yeah, nice hands there.
And he looks, and I mean, something about the fact that even though like the dirt on his suit and the dirt on his hands from having helped her up, just seems to accentuate.
Yes, I know how the sheet work.
I know you know how the sheet work, but I'm just doing it for the camera audience.
Yeah. Bailey,
I could dump you in oil and you'd look great. And I'm just sorry, what?
Dump in oil or rub in oil? No,
Yes.
anyways, yeah, you go to like a pick and pull, and I'm sorry, I'm just losing my train of thought. You are really, really good looking. I don't know if anybody's ever told you that.
He just sort of smiles, that sharp, way too sharp smile, but it seems somewhat pleasant, somewhat. It's like, I have heard that on occasion, yes.
Well, it is an understatement. Just, oh. It's a shame about your friend's vow of chastity. She says, and like she grabs the crowbar and closes the hood of the car.
His eyes following that crowbar.
I guess I should maybe roll a perception to see if.
Let me see if he can. Well, actually, no, he's not. He's not hiding it. He's just sort of like.
Okay, so
because it's really his real first time with something of cold iron. So seeing that crowbar is just like, oh. I think even most people would be like not keeping their cool around that. Yeah.
Let's see. 3 successes.
3 successes. Yeah. Despite all his usual cool and everything like that, definitely something about the crowbar makes him uncomfortable.
Bailey holds out the crowbar and says, "Can you hold this for a second? I'm gonna go check something in the trunk."
He doesn't move as he's staring at this thing presented towards him. It's like, could you move to something? And yet at the same time, he has to maintain at least some measure of why, yes, I'd love to help. Oh shit, he says as he his hand slips and his wallet falls out, and certain bits of the paper of the deed go flying.
Oh, I'll get that, she says, and she gives him a sus look, and she puts the crowbar on top of the car. And she goes to retrieve the piece of paper that's flitting in the wind.
Yeah, Charles manages to grab. It's not just one; it's like a few pieces of paper, and he manages to pick up his wallet and one or two of them. Mm-hmm. But it's like one of those moments of like, oh dear God.
And she comes back with the deed and folds it up. You dropped it. Here you go.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so sorry.
No. She picks up the crowbar. These things get so hot if you leave them out. That's why I was figuring, Yeah. And she just swings it over her shoulder. And strolls over to the trunk of the car. The tow company not going to be thrilled with this trunk full of crap.
And he sort of blinks. Then he comes over, slightly eyeing the crowbar, but he manages to come over and he takes a look at the.
There's like remnants of just like Maxine's never cleaning the car. There's like a high school yearbook. Like crap that she wouldn't have moved into her apartment. Laundry, dirty clothes, NYPD sweats from like working out, that kind of crap.
Yeah. And he's just looking at this. He's just like, she had full access to my washing machine as well. He just shakes his head and he's like reaches in and he like pulls out like one of the yearbooks. Well, he pulls out the yearbook. Mm-hmm. And he opens it up. I'm assuming there's signatures and stuff in it.
Yeah, well, there were not many. She didn't really make a lot of friends. She was like the weird kid.
Of course, of course.
So there's like one from Eric, one from Justine, some from teachers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She was a dork as well.
Yeah.
Just like goofy picture of teen Maxine.
Yep. Yeah, there was a lot about her I didn't know. She kept most of her life to herself.
I'm real sorry there. Do you need a moment alone, or need somebody
He
to
just
listen
shakes.
to you?
He shakes his head. Like, no, I don't. I don't need a moment alone. Having someone listen isn't a bad thing either. She kept a lot of herself under wraps. I don't think many people appreciated who she was, or at least tried to figure out who she was beneath what she put out for others to see. She was very sad. I never quite understood why she was sad as she was. But it was there.
Do you want some help fixing the car?
I don't even know the first thing about cars. I could use all the help I could get.
You're lucky I have a soft spot for saps, I guess. I I can help you, but you know, it would be me helping you get this thing running sufficiently, but also teaching you to kind of take care of it on your own. Sound good?
And he sort of looks at this, and he looks at the grime and stuff from the oils and the dirt on his hand from already.
Oh, there's probably plenty of that on like
Yeah.
Bailey's cheek and shit.
Yeah. And he's looking at this for a moment, and someone else's words is like, "Make this your home." Well, it sounds like I was going to have to get my hands dirty at some point anyway.
I'm sure we can find you some gloves or something if you'd like.
I think that would be a good start.
All right. Well, I guess we'll find one of those garages, and you're gonna have to buy the parts though to fix this thing up.
I have no problem with that.
She gives him the like look over. Of course you don't. Must be nice.
Must be nice. Isn't it, rich boy? Isn't it?
Yeah, I keep it classy myself. She indicates like on the far end of the lot near the edge of the property. There's a rusty Winnebago. She goes, "Mi casa."
He sort of stares at it for a moment, and he blinks, and he goes through the Rolodex of memories before finally settling on what she means. And he goes, "Ah." Because the concept of someone living out of a vehicle is completely alien to him, and the fact that
Poor Charles.
Chateau de out of character. Did they give no, I don't think they gave each other their names.
No, she just now said her name. She's like Chateau de Bailey.
Chateau de Bailey. And he responds, Mon chéri. And he, in French, he introduces himself. My name is Charles.
She just gives him a bewildered look, but she doesn't actually speak French. She
of course,
just knew the word chateau.
Yep, but he spoke it fluently. Sorry, the people at home, I don't speak it fluently.
Yeah, she just sort of like gives him this like wide-eyed look and kind of goes a little red. That was real pretty, but what?
Sorry. My name is Charles.
Well, that's a. You don't strike me as a Charles.
What do I strike you as?
Gorgeous.
But that's not a name.
I'm sure we could find one that means gorgeous.
There are plenty of words and name that means gorgeous. And he starts to list them off. French, then Italian, Swedish.
Just sort of like fans herself.
Oh my!
Hey, don't kink shame Bailey.
Spanish and Hindu. The Japanese and and Chinese have many ways to say it. Well, the Chinese especially. There's so many.
Yeah, any of those would work. But, I mean, I guess I can call you Charles, or I mean, if I could call, yeah. She says, kind of like flustered.
Yes, you can call me Charles. Excuse me. Sorry.
No, it's fine. Sorry, I'm a little distracted. What was I saying before? Yeah. Well,
I believe you're saying it was your home. He says he's indicating the Winnebago.
Yeah, well, there's no vow of chastity tied to that if you're ever interested. Raise up her eyebrows.
I'll take that in consideration.
Ooh, please do.
But you said a garage, and perhaps Phil, I should probably make sure that we can contact each other at some point if you're going to be educating me on how to take care of a vehicle.
Oh, right. And she like pats around her pockets for a bit, and finally she like finds her phone. It's a piece of crap. Not in the same level of crap that Maxine's phone was, but rather the piece of crap phone that the destitute tend to have.
Gotcha. Oh, yeah. It's a mess. It's a burner. I mean, what?
Nope. Probably. She'll you want to give me your digits, honey?
Yes. It's he gives them out.
And she'll press call, so he'll get the number on his phone.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, don't lose him.
And he puts it under Bailey. Saves. It's like, I won't. Well, and he sort of takes a moment and he looks back at the vehicle. You know, I don't know if she ever named it. This was the car she had in this is the car she had since high school.
Well, I mean, I guess you could name it since you are taking possession of it.
It's not an easy thing, naming something. Once you name it, you make it that forever.
You call it barreling hunk of crap.
I think that'd be a disservice to us if we are going to at least try to attempt to restore it.
Yeah. And also probably a disservice to the various other barreling hunks of crap I've seen come through. Oh, plastic exterior. She says, just like shaking her head looking at this car.
The insanity of this man wanting to restore the shit out of it.
Right. Let's restore the Dodge Neon. Most people restore classics. But
most people restore Porsches and and other fun vehicles.
Yes.
Charles, on the other hand, Dodge Neons. That's his gig. He's gonna start a trend. He's bringing it back.
It was never a thing. Oh. So I mean, if you're not going to name it barreling hunk of crap, I mean, I think it's standard to give it either like a lady's name or a dude's name.
He takes a moment. And he runs his fingers across the hood of the car. And he runs his fingers along the hood as he walks around it. As he tries to glean the name of this car, the name of this thing. And he walks around it slowly, in a rhythm. Once, twice, 3 times he walks around it, just slowly but surely. It's like trying to figure out this name. This name of this car. Maybe it's not its true name. No, he's not going to try to glean this vehicle's true name. Maybe another day. Maybe another time.
Yeah, even without doing a bunk, it still looks fucking weird to Bailey.
But on the 3rd rotation, he finally gets to the place and he stops. He puts his hand on the roof. Like he's listening. And I don't know if Maxine ever actually named the car or not, so forgive me if this is like completely off what she probably called it.
Nah, it's fine. We'll say whatever you came up with is close enough, even if it were. If it's a magical thing, whatever you want. I never named the car.
Hello, Carson.
God damn it, Michael.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's perfect. Go for it.
is what probably Maxine would have called it.
Something equally as pun and stupid.
Yes. Hello, Carson.
Bailey's laughing at this too. All the dramatic buildup.
Now, you didn't have to be shy with me on that one, he says as he pats the roof of the car.
You're a weirdo. Oh.
Sorry. He's probably keeping his cool in comparison to it, but jeez.
Circle the car 3 times. Hello, Carson.
In all the drama and gravitas, it's like, Carson, is that what they called you?
Oh, God.
I know it's pedestrian.
No, pedestrian would be you walking.
Mm.
Should I leave the two of you alone?
No, I think it's fine. He says he finally gets his hand. He takes his hand off the car. Bailey. Was that your given name?
The only name I've ever had. Bailey Dean, if you want to be formal about it, though.
Bailey is usually represented as something of strength, fortification. I hope you wear that name well.
Hey, I'm all right. Let's just say, people who mess with me don't mess with me twice.
Well, then I think then I'd have to say you probably live up to your name very well.
And then some.
Well, Bailey, I look forward to when we next meet. I hope you'll tell me a little bit more about alternators and how to replace them, along with everything else, especially that snake belt.
Yeah, that thing was looking pretty rough, wasn't it?
Like thread, he says as he's looking at it, because it's like fucking frayed. There's I mean, if there's one thing I know about, it's about the snake belt. And that I've this one, it just looks like it's fucking frayed to hell, which is ridiculous because it's made out of rubber. Well, until we meet again, Bailey, I look forward to learning the language of cars.
Yeah, I guess we can play car talk while we work on the car.
Excellent.
Anyways,
Keep
if
my
you have any trouble getting this thing started up for whatever purposes, give me a call. I've got I've got a knack.
I've got your number.
Don't forget to use it.
I won't. Have a good day, Bailey. Doesn't he? He walks over to the front to try to go talk to the tow man, who's probably been very extraordinarily patient, probably because he paid him. He's being paid by the hour or whatever to get the vehicle.
Bailey just shakes her head to herself. Why are the hot ones always loons?
Goddamn loons. And Charles, walking away, manages to wipe some sweat off his brow. It was really close. It was really freaking close. She almost made him touch cold iron. Oh no. No, that wouldn't have been that would not have been good. Hopefully that little bit of a distraction was enough, but perhaps, yes, perhaps she's already suspicious. Gotta be careful. Gotta be careful. I think with that, as he approaches the tow truck and gives the instructions, I think that's where we're going to end our scene. So thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever and whenever you are. Bye-bye.